Representative Ward-Engelking. How are you?
I'm good. And it's Senator, but
Senator, God, I always screw that up. I'm useless. I don't even know why you come talk to me.
I guess it's pretty fun.
I have a good time too. I'm very happy to have you back. First off, I think it was 2 days ago, you guys passed an actual estimated revenue number in JFAC, correct?
That's right. Finally.
Congratulations.
Finally.
Only took to the beginning of March.
I know, just 2 months late, but yeah, we got it done finally. We waited to see what the tax bill was going to be, and then we made sure we projected enough money to cover it, the tax cut, I guess. That's maybe.
My goodness.
I know. It's kind of frightening.
The tax return is on the governor's desk, correct?
I think he signed it.
He signed it. Okay.
Yeah, I think House Bill 40 was signed. I'm not positive, but I heard rumors.
Yes, I think I had Representative Monkson yesterday. I think he was running off to, maybe that was the signing. I can't remember. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so here's something that's interesting. There seems to be a criticism of taking government funding of programs has become a really hot topic with Doge and everybody questioning where's money going, what's the ROI we're getting on this money. It's federal tax money, so it's like it's kind of our money, but it's not really our money. Idaho is a net recipient from the federal government. We obviously get more money back from them than we actually pay into them. But the idea that money that we take from the federal government is like this federal funding has become a reason for people to beat up on certain programs or certain initiatives.
Right.
Talk to me about this.
Well, exactly. I mean, we take federal money for in most of our budgets. I mean, water projects, for roads and bridges, for schools, for fire suppression. I mean, we take federal money all the time. But what's happening now is we're seeing federal money and budgets, and they're going, oh, we don't want to take this. And a lot of times it's for the elderly, it's for veterans, it's for disabled, it's low income, it's child care grants, it's for libraries, to make sure that local libraries have digital talking books for people. And we're seeing, what I'm seeing anyway, when we're doing budgets is, well, I don't want to take this federal money. You know, we've got to do something about our federal deficit. Well, most of these dollars don't go back to the Treasury. If we choose not to take them, then they go to our neighboring states who are willing to take them. And this is much needed money. It's for a lot of times it's for our elderly, and it's for our aging population, for Meals on Wheels. I mean, it's for low-income housing. There's just so much there, but it's frightening because their argument against taking it is it's federal money, and we can't extend our deficit, and we've got to scale back. Well, that would be fine if it was going back to the Treasury, or if they said that about every single federal dollar, but it's not.
Okay. If we could unpack this. So first off, if there's a $5 million program for something like, libraries, okay. Mm-hmm. If Idaho doesn't take that money, if Idaho doesn't like, nah, we thank you, but no thank you. That money, there's no like, okay, take this, or else it just goes to decreasing our debt. It's like, no, we have allotted this money. So if you guys don't take it, either a neighboring state will take it, or all the states that take it will get slightly more, something of that nature.
That's exactly right. It's done on a formula. And so Idaho gets a certain percentage, like in this case, it's Commission for the Libraries get $2.5 million, and that is a pass-through grant that goes to local libraries for multiple programs. It's for to help the elderly and veterans be able to access a computer. It's for telehealth. It's for talking books. But if we don't take that money, it does not go back to the Treasury. It will go to states that are willing to take the money.
Gotcha. And aside from that, so not taking the money does not decrease our, give us like a moral victory with, hey, we decreased the national debt. There's no victory here. It's just like, no, you didn't get this. The debt stays what the debt is, and the money goes to somebody else.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
And then what are other places where Idaho takes money? Right. And I know they might be numerous, but, humor me. Where are we getting money?
Okay. We take money for water projects, for sewer projects in rural areas or small cities, and also to extend the dam, Anderson Dam. We're going to raise that dam so that we can store more water. We take it there, fire suppression, military. We take money, and that, we have a lot of military. We have the base and then the National Guard here in Idaho. We take it for roads and bridges, billions of dollars.
And those are federal grants to improve infrastructure and things of that nature?
Right, okay. Right. Infrastructure. We take money for CHIPS grant and for Micron, and and to make sure that we have the capability to make those products here in the United States, which is helpful to all of us. It makes us more independent of other nations. So there's lots of reasons to do it, and it's beneficial to to the whole state and to to generations to come. So there's a reason to do it, and it's helpful. If we hadn't had an infusion of federal money, we would not have been able to deal with the backlog that we had in deferred maintenance in roads and bridges. We wouldn't be seeing the raising of the dam, which is going to help with our water issues in the Treasure Valley. The recharge that we're doing throughout the state. These dollars are important, but they also, help our children, our grandchildren. They're going to be helpful. So and a lot of them are safety issues too. Cybersecurity. We take federal dollars, broadband, to make sure that everybody in Idaho has access to the internet. So a lot of it's security, but related, and they're big projects, but it's hard to hear when there's a project like daycare funding, subsidy grants, so that low-income families can go to work. We won't take it. We don't want to take it then. Or Medicaid expansion. We don't want to take the federal dollars. And it bothers me because it seems to me that we're looking at it a little differently. If it's for low income, for older people, for veterans, for disabled, we question the validity of taking the money.
You mentioned daycare. I was chatting with Senator Rucky. There we go. I can't. I need a cheat sheet or something for you guys.
There's too many of them.
Yeah, right. I was talking to Senator Rucky about the daycare bill that was looking to reduce restrictions. Was that also looking to remove grant money from the federal government?
No, the grant money's in budgets, but okay. The daycare, that bill did pass out of committee. It was a close vote. It was 5-4, but it would remove the ratio for adults to children. And, we don't have a lot of guidelines for daycare licensure here in Idaho, but that's a pretty important one. I mean, you've got to make sure you're not watching too many children, to be careful with them. And these are families' most precious children, and they are our most precious thing we have. And we want to make sure that when we send them to daycare, that they're going to be safe and that they're going to be carefully monitored.
Is that all that bill did, which is just reduce the adult to child ratio?
No, I would have to look back over it, but
I know I'm putting you on the spot. It's you can't know all the details.
It just came out of committee, so, and I don't think it went to the 14th order. It's going to the floor. I think it just basically says that we don't set certain guidelines for daycares, and I think it's important that our cities do, and that we, that's always been the case for the years that I've been at the legislature. So this is, once again, we're telling local communities what they should do and how they should do it, and I think that's a bad precedent.
Do you think that the emphasis, because I've heard the concept of local control versus state control a lot in this legislative session. Now, mind you, I've never done this before where I covered this whole thing, but this is a concept that keeps coming up over and over and over. And I hear some people that say, hey, I didn't want to vote for this bill because it was state control and we need to leave it in local control. But in the next vote, They're like, oh yeah, we should definitely make the state, like insert the state into this. We should make this the state's purview. It was like, wait, I don't understand. Like what is local control good or bad? And what are the instances where you override local control kind of like on principle for state control? Like, what, is there some way for me to understand this better?
Well, I think you just pointed out one of the problems. We have a lot of inconsistency when it comes to what we do over at the State House. And, my Republican colleagues used to own the kind of the idea that we want local control, that local governments are the closest to the people. They've thrown that out the window. Democrats now own that. It's really, we don't like having the state preempt cities, local school districts, local library boards, Ada County Highway District. We don't like that. We think that it should be left to those locally elected officials to make the decisions for their local communities.
So bottom line is, this is not like a miracle or a surprise or like anything really profound. It's kind of like, hey, this is just a philosophical principle that used to be very much a beloved principle by everybody yeah. and especially conservatives. And now it's more of, hey, the conservatives at the state level do feel that they can kind of make laws for, say, like libraries or municipalities or and I did speak with Representative Scott on this, she had her flag bill that was saying, hey, we're going to restrict any municipality or any government funding in the state to go to like any flag other than the Idaho flag or the United States flag. And my question there was, well, like, what if people of Coeur d'Alene want to fly like whatever flag they want? Like, can't they? And if they don't like it, they can vote the mayor out, or they can vote the city council out, sure. and they can make these decisions on a local level, or maybe have a flag commission, right? Like, I don't know, yeah. people that determine, like, I don't know anything about flags, but the point is that, yeah, right. Like it seems to me, it's like, well, why put it at the state level, right? Like, why does anybody in Coeur d'Alene need the state government of Idaho telling them what to do?
My feeling exactly. I think that, I really believe, and it used to be pretty much an Idaho value, is that local control is best. And that's kind of changed. And now we, as a body over at the State House, sometimes think we should be weighing in on local issues and telling everybody in the state, this is how you do it. And so often our communities are so different that what works in Marsing, Idaho may not work in Boise. And that's true with the schools, and it's true, I think, in local government, and it's true in water, it's true with the roads. And so to think that the state knows best and we can pass one bill that works for all communities is pretty outrageous, really.
Coming back to the federal funding, are you at all worried about the strings attached to grants that come along with federal money?
We look at those grants fairly carefully, and we look at that and we make sure that we have Idaho control over that money. Most of our Idaho agencies and departments, if there's strings attached, they don't even apply for them. They don't take it. But when we can look at a grant and say, okay, it can be used for these things, and that's something we need here in Idaho, let's apply for them. And once we get them, it's unfortunate now that we're saying, oh, well, we're not going to take them. We've changed our mind. And some of these grants have already been allocated to a local level. It's been a pass-through grant, and now to pull that money back, I don't know how you claw that back. And I think I don't know if local, let's say local libraries can pay that money back. This was a 5-year grant of money, a 5-year program, and some of that money has already been allocated. And so it's problematic. I don't know where we're going with it, but it's frustrating.
I had Brian Brookson from the American Bird Conservancy yesterday, and he was talking about the government efficiencies, really the federal government essentially making a large contraction with grants and things like that. And of course, environmental things are always on the chopping block. And he was just bringing to light some of the issues, and he brings up, like waterfowl. He's like, listen, everybody loves duck hunting. Like think about that. Yeah. Think about the amount of money that is spent on just duck hunting in the United States. So you have like the Duck Dynasty, and that was really like made because they sold one accessory to duck hunting. Right? They had like a duck collar.
Duck call. I got it.
So like, okay, that's just one piece of equipment. That's not ammunition. That's not firearms. That's not waders. That's not blinds. That's not this, that, blah, blah. So if you think about all the money involved just in duck hunting, and then the mass benefit we all get from that, and then the difficulty with maintaining it, because what I obviously don't know, because I'm not like a bird guy, it's like we have international agencies and agreements in place to make sure that we have migratory bird health and patterns that are consistent and predictable, and the populations stay large enough so that there is a surplus that we can harvest a chunk of them, but we're not reducing down like the base number of birds every year, like all of these different things. And we have to go from Canada all the way to Mexico and work with all these different agencies. Yeah. And so, there's a price tag associated with that. But when you imagine how much benefit the country gets just from one waterfowl industry, right? Just duck hunting, it's an unbelievable value.
I know it's mind-boggling, and we're seeing right now with what's happening at the federal level. We know that a lot of our research grants right now to the universities are on hold. They're put on pause. I'm hoping they're not gone, because, our universities do a tremendous amount of research with water and wildfires and all sorts of things that benefit and the ag industry that, benefit our state. And it would be horrifying if these research grants go away, and especially when we're in the middle of some really important research that could solve some real important problems down the line.
When you said, what's interesting? Moving up here, because again, I moved from, the few years ago, and I can't even say it's like Baltimore. I'm like, so like the state that shall not be named.
Yeah, the state that shall not.
There it is. When I moved up here, the idea of conservation and environmentalism was so tainted for me, of like, those people are crazy, because my view of it was like people sleeping in trees and handcuffing themselves around like oak trees and stuff. So like they couldn't be like, that was what I understood and I observed with like, quote, environmentalism. Okay. Moving up here, I meet real conservationists. I meet real environmentalists, be it somebody studying like the Sagebrush Ocean, or I had Brandon Hoffner from the Henry's Fork Foundation on recently. Just him explaining to me what this foundation has been doing for the last, 20 years or whenever. I can't remember. It's actually been learned much longer than that. He's been the executive director for like, I think 13 or 14 years. But he's talking about clarity of water, temperature, water flow, like all of these different things that have to be monitored so that we can have multi-use of this water source. We can have irrigation. We can have cattle utilization. We can have this incredible fishery that people come from all over the country and all over the world to fish. And all of these things just for this one little area, and how much brain power it takes and how many experts. Man, he had a lot of $10 words. I was like, I don't even know what that means. He had a word that was essentially like how transparent how opaque the water is. I can't remember. It started with a T. I was like, I have no idea what you just said, man. But all of these things factor into health of the waterway and utilization. And to me, I've met these people. I'm like, oh, these are the real people that are really working to maintain these natural resources that, like, they're the ones giving these that everybody can use. And they're the ones giving this title of like conservationist. They are the actual conservationists, not the dude handcuffing himself to the tree.
Well, and in reality, our farmers and ranchers are good at stewards of the land.
Yes.
Because I grew up on a farm, and if you don't take care of the soil and the water, you can't produce a crop. And so they're very good stewards the land and also of animals. And so people don't always realize that, but farmers and ranchers are excellent at that.
I have to ask you something. I had a Representative Blaylock in here yesterday, and she grew up on a family farm, and she went to college, and she went to a friend's house for dinner one night, and there was a picture of the family with their dog, their family dog. It was like, Smoochies, whatever the dog's name is. I have no idea. And she started laughing because she thought the picture was a joke, because when she was growing up, she was like, listen, we had dogs, but they were outside dogs. We had pets, and we loved the pets, and then we ate them. She was like, that was it. I thought everybody did that. Like, did you have to come to some reckoning in the world where you realize not everybody eats the family pet at some point? Like, you're not dinner at some point in the next 12 months.
Well, yes, I will tell you, chickens. Yes, that was kind of on the menu, but I raised, we had rabbits when I was growing up, and I guess my dad thought that was a good thing to have for dinner one Sunday night. And I about lost I said, oh my gosh, is that Flopsy? And
is that Flopsy?
And my dad said, oh, for heaven's sakes, and told my mom to take that off the table. And we had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches instead. But yeah, no, when you grow up on a farm, yeah, I mean, you raise animals for a reason, and it's, yeah,
and animals are animals.
Yeah, but
and humans are humans.
But we did have dogs that were pets and could come in the house. But yeah,
you probably had working dogs though too, huh?
Oh, definitely. They all were working dogs, but they could come in. But the cats had to stay outside.
You had cats that had to just survive as these feral animals?
Sometimes fed them, but most of the time there was a lot of mice out there. When you have granaries and stuff, they had plenty of food, believe me.
Oh, hell yeah. I have this dumb little French bulldog. His name's Axel. And I love Axel. He's great. But he's like this lazy, cranky old man. He's 3 years old and he's literally the crankiest old man I've ever met. We actually had to get a golden retriever so our boys could love on dogs.
Yeah.
Because they try to go pet Axel or snuggle with him. And he's like, I'm like, what is wrong with you, man? You're a dog. But dude, he found a mouse one time outside and this guy became a different animal. Oh. He needs, he was not bred to be just some fluffy
farm animal.
He needs to be outside. We heard all these things when we first got him. They're like, oh, French bulldogs, they're not very good with weather. Okay, the first time we took him to the snow, we couldn't get him to come inside. All he wanted to do is be prancing around his dumb little French butt around the snow and just having a great time.
I love it.
What a thing, man. Anyway, it's what a culture shock, right? A bunch of idiots like me from the state that shall not be named coming with our French bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, I taught school for 33 years and I taught most of the time in Boise, and I realized very quickly they didn't know where their food came from. So we went on field trips and we went to, on a field day to a farm or to, where they brought in all of these animals. And it was shocking to me that they didn't know what a sugar beet looked like or any of that.
I had sugar beet salmon recently. The sugar beet queen lady, who's the head of the Sugar Beet Association. She was darling. I loved chatting with her. She was really, and we're apparently going to go I'm going to go see a sugar beet farm this summer.
Oh, you'll like it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great. God bless it. Anyway, Senator Ward-Engelking, I appreciate you. I don't want to take too much of your Friday afternoon.
Well, it's so fun to talk to you, and I'll look forward to chatting with you again.
Yes, thank you for what you're doing, and thanks for coming to chat with me about the JFAC stuff. And again, I'm trying to understand where people are coming from with things. So understanding, hey, look, this is a reason that somebody may just be using because they don't like something. Okay, that's fine. Or this is a reason that is actual a principle, and we apply this all the time. Okay, that's fine. But I just like to be able to orient myself and understand, am I missing something?
Well, yeah, because stay in your lane, if it's no federal money, it's no federal money. But if it's just when it's convenient excuse not to vote for something, then that's problematic for me.
Well, trust me, I know my lane very clearly. I'm the idiot with the microphone. I'm very good at being that guy. Anyway, I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's do it again.
Okay.